It was exactly midnight when Detective Aaron Blake's phone rang. Not vibrated, not chimed softly. It rang, loud, sharp, and unnatural in the stillness of his dark apartment. Aaron's eyes snapped open. He stared at the ceiling for a second before reaching for the phone on his nightstand. The screen glowed against the darkness. Unknown caller. He hesitated, then answered. For a moment, there was nothing but static. Then a whisper slipped through the speaker, distorted and cold. "She's still alive." The line went dead. Aaron sat upright. His heart pounded, not from fear, but from recognition. He knew that voice didn't belong to a drunk prankster or a bored criminal. It carried purpose, calm, control, and worst of all, confidence. Within minutes, his phone buzzed again. This time it was dispatch. A woman had been reported missing, Emily Carter. Aaron froze. Emily wasn't just another name in a report. She was a journalist, sharp, relentless, fearless. And she had been digging into something big. Corruption inside the city council. Missing funds, shadow contracts. Powerful men with dangerous secrets. He had warned her 2 weeks ago. "Be careful," he had said. She had smiled and replied, "That's your job, detective." Now she was gone. The warehouse stood at the edge of the industrial district, surrounded by rusted fences and broken streetlights. Rain poured from the sky, soaking the concrete and turning the streets into reflections of red and blue police lights. Aaron ducked under the tape and stepped inside. The air smelled like oil and gasoline. In the center of the room was a metal chair. Ropes lay scattered on the floor. The ropes were freshly cut. On the far wall, written in thick red letters, were 2 words, "Tick-tock." Aaron felt the message crawl under his skin. This wasn't random. This wasn't panic. This was theater. Someone wanted him to see this. A forensic officer approached, holding a small plastic evidence bag. "We found this near the entrance." Inside was a cheap burner phone. Aaron's stomach tightened. "Check the prints," he said. Hours later, back at headquarters, the results came in. One clear fingerprint. Victor Halle. The room went silent. Victor Halle had been declared dead 2 years ago in a prison fire. Convicted serial offender, manipulator, psychological predator, officially deceased. But Aaron remembered the fire too clearly. The body recovered had been burned beyond recognition. Dental records were damaged. Identification had relied on circumstantial evidence. Now Victor's print had appeared at a fresh kidnapping scene. Either someone was playing a cruel game, or a dead man had just made a phone call. Emily woke up in darkness. Her wrists burned from the ropes. Her mouth was dry. A single bulb hung from the ceiling, swaying slightly, casting moving shadows along concrete walls. She forced herself not to panic. Panic wastes oxygen. Panic wastes time. She listened. Dripping water somewhere nearby. The faint hum of electricity. And breathing, not hers. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward, dressed in black. Face hidden behind a smooth mask. "You ask too many questions," the distorted voice said. Emily stared at him, memorizing posture, height, movement. "Journalists survive on details." "You won't silence the truth," she said, her voice shaking only slightly. The masked man tilted his head. "Truth is flexible." He stepped back into the darkness. At 1 a.m., Aaron's phone rang again. He answered immediately. "Find her before sunrise," the whisper said. A text message followed, a location pin near River Bridge. Aaron didn't wait for backup. He drove fast, tires hissing over wet pavement. Under the bridge, hidden behind concrete pillars, he found something small glinting under the flashing lights. Emily's necklace, silver, broken clasp, fresh mud on the chain. She had been there, and she was moved again. This wasn't just a kidnapping. This was a hunt. Security footage from nearby traffic cameras revealed a black van passing through the area. The license plate was fake, but the timing matched. Aaron replayed the footage again and again. Something about the driver's posture bothered him. Familiar. Too familiar. Back at the station, he pulled Victor Hale's old case files. Page after page of manipulation, taunting letters, psychological traps. Victor had enjoyed forcing investigators to chase illusions while he watched from the shadows. But Victor had always worked alone. Until now. Aaron dug deeper into the prison fire records. One name kept appearing in the internal investigation. Detective Mark Sullivan, Aaron's partner. Mark had overseen the transport the night of the fire. Mark had signed off on the body identification. Mark had closed the file. Aaron felt a slow, sinking realization. He searched personnel files. Victor Hale had one known relative, a younger brother, name legally changed years ago. Mark Sullivan. Meanwhile, Emily worked the rope against the sharp edge of a cracked bolt sticking from the chair. It cut slowly into the fibers. She kept her breathing steady. The masked man returned, holding a small radio. News reports filled the room. Journalist Emily Carter remains missing. He leaned close to her. "They're afraid," he whispered. She kept her face calm. "You won't win," she said. The mask tilted again. "You still think this is about winning?" He reached up and for a split second removed the mask to wipe sweat from his face. Emily's eyes widened. She knew that face. She had seen it at police press conferences. Standing beside Detective Aaron Blake, Detective Mark Sullivan, he pulled the mask back on. But it was too late. She knew. Aaron didn't wait for confirmation. He grabbed his gun and drove toward Mark's registered secondary property, a cabin near Lake Evermore. Rain had slowed to a mist. Dawn was still an hour away. He parked at a distance and approached quietly. Lights flickered inside the cabin. He heard shouting. Then Mark's voice, no distortion now. Emily tied to a chair. Mark holding a gun to her head. Mark's eyes widened. "Aaron," he said softly. "You weren't supposed to figure it out. Drop the weapon," Aaron said. Mark laughed. A hollow, broken sound. "You think Victor was the monster?" He exposed corruption. They silenced him. The fire wasn't an escape. It was an execution. Aaron felt the weight of the revelation. "You helped him," Aaron said. "I tried to save him," Mark snapped. "But after he died, I realized something. The city doesn't deserve truth. It deserves fear." Outside, the first hint of light touched the horizon. "You called me," Aaron said. "Why?" Mark smiled. "Because you're the only one smart enough to appreciate the game." In that second, Emily acted. She slammed her chair sideways, knocking Mark off balance. The gun fired. The shot shattered a window. Aaron fired once. Mark staggered backward. Silence fell. Mark collapsed to the floor. The gun slipped from his hand. Emily sobbed as Aaron rushed to untie her. Outside, the sun finally broke over the lake. 5:59 a.m. before sunrise. Later, as paramedics treated Emily and officers secured the scene, Aaron stood alone by the water. Trust. That was the real casualty. Not just the badge. Not just the city. Trust. Mark had hidden in plain sight for years, smiling, working cases, sharing coffee breaks. Sometimes the darkest monsters don't hide in shadows. They stand beside you. They earn your confidence. They wait. Aaron's phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. His heart skipped. He answered. Silence. Then a soft clicking sound, like someone hanging up. Aaron slowly lowered the phone. Some games don't end. They evolve. And somewhere in the growing daylight, a new shadow was already forming.